Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and I'm out here in the garage on a Friday night, and so I guess it's time for another Garage Gun Talk. I got so much going on. I just finished editing the range footage for the range report on the Browning Buckmark Contour, and I got the bullet point script, my little notes that I make sure I talk about the right things in each segment, all done. I was setting up the camera. Not sure when I'm going to film this, but I got everything ready to go. I'm probably going to film the portion where I do the trigger pull gauge first and figure out where I'm going to put that within the range report, and then I got to make sure it fits within the different segments. But thanks again, Richard, for lending this to the channel. And I want to thank my friend Craig once again for the trigger pull gauge. He gave this to the channel, so that's awesome. I have such awesome and amazing subscribers and friends, I'll tell you what. But tonight's video, I really want to talk more about the ATF Pistol Brace rule and people giving me a headache. Now, I know that sometimes I complain about things, and people go, Jason, you shouldn't let commenters or other people bother you so much. But I want to say that I live in a world where knowledge and experience are the most important things that you can attain in life. More than money, more than possessions, the experiences of your life. I think that when it's all said and done, and you're on your deathbed in your final hours, you don't care about how much money you made in your life. You care about the things you saw and experienced. You care about your loved ones. That's what is important. And so for me, I crave knowledge more than anything else. Knowledge, I don't know, everything from history. I love learning about things like Roman history, medieval history. I love learning about astronomy and physics. I can talk hours and hours on the Fermi paradox and exoplanets and dark energy and that kind of stuff just absolutely just fascinates me. And I have to learn everything about it because I'm passionate about it. Well, one of my passions, as you guys obviously know because you're here, is firearms. And by the way, here's the gun that yesterday I put on the pistol brace because this is a B&T SPC-10 pistol. And D, another awesome local subscriber, lent this to the channel. And when he did, it was a pistol. Well, it still is a pistol, but it didn't have the brace on it because we were still living in the post-ATF Pistol Brace rule world, and there was no injunction. Well, lo and behold, literally a couple days later, we get a nationwide injunction on the enforcement of the pistol brace rule. So I went ahead and dug out the old pistol brace that I had on my personal AR-15 9mm that I did all those amnesty registration videos on. And I put it on this gun because now it is legal. And of course, anytime I talk about pistol braces, I get a ton of people commenting on my video, and I don't think it is necessarily willful ignorance or intentional ignorance, but I get a lot of people saying things as statements of fact that are factually inaccurate. And I guess it just drives me up the wall because, as I've mentioned, this is my passion. And I learn everything there is to know about these topics. Everything, okay? Maybe some people will say, hey, you're arrogant about that, but it is what I do. It isn't just some passing, fleeting thing where I get just enough information that I feel like I know something. I mean, I dig into the rulings, the opinions, the actual case law. I'm not an attorney, and so people say, well, you can't comment. You're an idiot because you're not a lawyer. No, a layman should be able to understand the basics of law. And to even prove my point, the judge that issued the injunction said something factually inaccurate in his ruling that I knew about the law, but the judge didn't. And I couldn't believe that the plaintiffs weren't arguing this. So obviously I know more about this law and the rule than the plaintiffs and the judge. But I know, right now some of you guys are going, holy moly, is he arrogant and narcissistic? But I will get there. And I also want to say that CoOnTheWar, and I'm not picking on him, because by the way, I love CoOnTheWar. Somebody said, hey, why are you picking on him? I'm not picking on him, okay? He makes amazing content. He's one of my favorite firearms YouTubers. But I'm going to hold him to account to something because he said something factually inaccurate in his ATF Pistol Brace video as well. But let's talk about the two comments first on the channel. So when I added the brace, and I mentioned in that video, now that the rule is enjoined nationwide and it's immediate, I can put this brace on this pistol while the temporary injunction is in place. And I had one person comment and goes, "You just admitted to a felony." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "You owned a pistol brace. You were supposed to destroy that." It's like, it wasn't the fact that I put the pistol brace on the pistol, that of course now it's legal. They thought that just owning the brace, if it was not put onto a firearm, was a felony. Because somewhere down the line, somebody had told them that, or they misconstrued what the ruling was, or the rule was, or the regulation. The ATF said that all you had to do to make your pistols compliant was to remove the brace. That was it. You didn't have to destroy the brace. They said braces are not illegal. You're allowed to own them. You just can't put them on pistols. That was it. The ATF, in their own frequently asked questions and in the rule, stated that. But yet people still thought that owning the pistol brace itself was felonious. And it wasn't. So I tried to correct them. I'm sure they don't believe me because they heard it from somebody else or some big gun tuber, but it's factually inaccurate, as I think some of you guys would know. Somebody else who often comments on my channel, and nice guy, and as I said, I don't think it was willful or anything. They said, "I can't believe you shouldered that on video." The ATF has never really enforced or issued anything. I know in the past they said if you shouldered it, oh my gosh, it's a short-barreled rifle. But they've backtracked on that. You can go online. You can find tons of videos, pre-pistol brace, where people shoulder these. I review where you can shoulder them. If you misuse this is of course designed as a brace where your hand would go through this. But if you misuse it, it's still a brace. It's intentionally designed for your hand. That is what this is. It is not a stock. You're legally allowed to shoulder it. Yeah, I know. So I just wanted to say that. They've never, part of the ruling was never, oh, you can't shoulder them. That was not the issue. But now let's get into the factually inaccurate things that other people that should know better are lying to people about. Let's go to CoOnTheWar. In his video, he said that, and of course he's, trying to get views and get people fired up. He's an attorney, but he should know better than this. He said that when the ATF came out with this rule, they gave people options. And he said, well, you could destroy your firearm, or you could register it with the NFA and the ATF and pay a $200 tax. No, that was factually inaccurate. They gave you the option of amnesty registering it. Now, you can say, I hate the idea of amnesty registering. I don't want to register. That's totally fine. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is the fact he said your options were destroy it or pay $200. No, that wasn't the options. I mean, you could still register it using a tax-paid application if you wanted to, but you had that amnesty option where you didn't pay the tax. So he lied to people. And so that continues the myth that they forced people to pay $200 per pistol-braced firearm. And it was factually inaccurate. A small factual inaccuracy, but inaccurate nonetheless. And the reason this is important is if we want to be taken seriously when it comes to fighting these rules and regulations in court and in the court of public opinion, shouldn't we know the law and the rule itself? Shouldn't we know that? I mean, that's kind of a big deal. Like, imagine if you tried to argue, we should be allowed to drive 55 miles an hour on our main streets here in our town. And then, you go to the city council and city council's like, but the speed limit's 65. Why? And you're like, oh, it's 65. I had no idea. So you're mad about something that wasn't even a rule, a law, or a regulation to begin with. So you look silly and stupid. And then the people that are actually in power look at you and go, you're just a plebeian. You're a commoner. You don't know anything. Look how stupid you are. You were complaining about something that wasn't even the rule or the law to begin with. You didn't even take the time to study that. I know Colion knew better, but he put that in the video and it perpetuated the myth that your only option was destroy the firearm, thus you lose your value, or pay the $200, which was not it. You could just take off the brace, or you could amnesty register. You had other options. So that was disingenuous. Now, let's talk about the ruling, the injunction, and I believe the lawyers for the plaintiffs essentially maybe lied to the court, or the judge didn't know the ruling and actually didn't read the ATF's pistol brace rule and the attached frequently asked questions. So I read the ruling. I know, I'm a dork. I read this stuff. Well, one of the things he talks about when it comes to proving injury to the parties, he said that part of the application process, and this is in the ruling, you guys can go find it. He said part of the injury to the parties is that upon registering, amnesty registering the pistol braces or the pistol brace firearms, the applicant would have to go out and engrave their receivers per ATF spec, and that can cost anywhere on average in the state of Texas, where this was adjudicated, between $35 and $75 typically. And therefore, that causes a monetary injury to the parties, and that also helps them get standing because the ATF is not going to supply them with the ability to engrave the receivers and give them that money back. That was just one of the things. However, according to the ATF's pistol brace rule and the attached frequently asked questions, one of the questions is, do I have to have my receiver engraved? And the answer was no, because the ATF was treating braced pistols as factory SBRs. Okay, so let me explain. When you fill out a Form 1 to manufacture a SBR, short barrel rifle, short barrel shotgun, destructive device, when you are manufacturing it, so let's say you bought a pistol and you want to put on a stock. Well, you become the manufacturer, or the maker, I believe is the actual term. So you file your Form 1, you pay $200, they give you the approval. Then when you attach it, you have now made an SBR, and therefore you have to engrave your name or your trust name and the city in which you registered it. Somewhere on the receiver, there's specifications. And that has to be on the form and on the firearm in all future transfers, okay? However, if you go out and buy a factory SBR, like I have I have an SPC, not obviously this one's D's, but I have an SPR PDW that is a factory SBR. Guess what? It does not have engraving of my name or my city because it was a factory SBR. It was born at the factory as an SBR because they are a maker of Title II firearms. So it just transfers to me with the engravings that come from the factory, just their standard engraving. So it's a factory SBR. It never has to be engraved because it was made by B&T as an SBR. I'm not the maker. I'm just the transferee. So the ATF was treating these as factory SBRs, meaning if you bought this and it had a brace on it, okay, it's a factory SBR. And so when you amnesty registered it, it wasn't you making the firearm, even if you put on the brace. They just said, hey, you bought it as a pistol. It's a factory SBR. Amnesty register it. You don't have to engrave it. Because I think they also understood when they wrote the rule that financial aspect to the rule. And they also understood the logistical nightmare that is that, because of all future transfers of these things, and you're bringing in people that don't understand the NFA process. So they just wanted to treat them as factory SBRs. It's not a big deal, and go forward with it. It's in the frequently asked questions, and it's in the rule. But the judge apparently missed that, and the plaintiff's attorneys apparently missed that. So let me ask you, why is it that a music teacher, okay, in Frisco, Texas, catches this stuff, and a district judge that has been confirmed by the Senate of the United States and the attorneys that are big-time attorneys for the plaintiff didn't catch this, or CoOnTheWar, who is an accomplished attorney himself, knows what the actual rule is. As I said, I am not defending the rule. I am just saying that it's important for us, if we are going to fight the rule, we need to be smart, we need to be educated, we need to be factual with our information when we present our case to other people. When we have our day in court, we don't want to look like idiots. We don't want to look like fools. But that's what we do. When I talked about this gun and this pistol brace, I had to, in fact, delete a lot of people that once again came on my channel, but maybe just saw the video, were not subscribers, said factually inaccurate information, called me names, said, "Oh my God, you're a felon. You kept a brace?" No, God. Oh, it hurts my head. Oh, man, does it hurt my head. Because so many people don't know. Now, I don't expect them to know everything. Not everybody is a nerd and a geek and a dork like I am. Okay? I am all three of those things. If you guys haven't figured that out yet, okay, I don't know where you've been. Okay? I am all three of those things. But it just drives me bonkers because it is my crusade in life to educate people. I'm a teacher. It's what I do. It's my passion. But also, I'm so passionate about this, and I want to preserve our Second Amendment. I want to teach people about guns, and I want to enrich the knowledge base of the Second Amendment community. And then when people come and not just ask a question, but in a statement of fact, and then get mad when you correct them or point to the information, like somebody said about, the brace. I sent them the frequently asked questions. That right there it is on the ATF website. No, I saw this on Guns and Gadgets. Okay. I know you disagree with the rule. I know that. But know what the rule actually says before you go out and spout off misinformation, because it makes you look like an idiot. Then it misinforms other people who then go out and look like idiots too. And then all these myths get propagated. And it makes us as an entire community look like idiots. Idiots. And that's not what I want. I want us to be smart. As I've said before, the rules, the laws, and the regulations are already bad enough. We don't have to make up crap about them. We don't have to make up crap about them. Like I was talking earlier about the speed limit stuff, right? If you go into a court and be like, I'm going to fight this. I should be allowed to drive 55. And they're like, but the speed limit is 65. You didn't even know the law. You look like an idiot. Okay? And that's what I want to prevent. I don't mind people asking questions. I don't mind people saying, I think this is it. What does everyone else think? But when you come in angry and as a matter of fact, well, you can't keep that. Where did you get that information? The same thing goes back to somebody asked me about getting a tax stamp for the amnesty stuff. Because I think somebody on that video says, I sure hope you amnesty registered this gun when you put the brake. No, I said the ATF rule has been enjoined, and this is a pistol, and it's not even my pistol, right? And then they said, and somebody else said, well, about getting a physical form back. No, if you e-filed, you don't get a physical form. And if you amnesty registered, you never paid a tax, you don't get a tax stamp. You don't go to the post office and get a stamp that you didn't pay for. Now, there is a way to mail things if it has been in like one of those prepaid envelopes, right? You don't get a stamp, but you have another way. Or there's those codes on them where it's like, it's like a return service thing where like they ask somebody will send you something in the mail, and it will like a questionnaire, and as long it doesn't have a stamp on it, but it says as long as you put this in the postal box, the original people that send it out will pay for it, right? So you didn't buy this, you don't get a postage stamp because you didn't pay the money. It's the same thing here. You do get an approved Form 1 without a stamp. But that like blows people's mind. No, you have to have a stamp. Okay, it's because you're using the incorrect terminology. There's a difference between an approval and an approval with a stamp that proves you paid the tax. Not every ATF form requires a tax. A Form 5 is a tax-exempt transfer. If you pass away and you bequeath your guns to somebody else, well, they're going to fill out a Form 5. They will get that Form 5 back, but it will not have a tax stamp affixed, but it's approved. It's therefore transferred to them, right? If you send it off to an NFA item for repair, you can also do a Form 5 if it goes across state lines. You don't pay a tax. You don't get a stamp, but you get an approved form. The ATF Form 1 amnesty is that way. There was like, it's not real. You don't get, like, oh God. Okay. It seems like such a simple concept to me that it's not difficult to comprehend. It's not difficult to understand the nuances. But people in the gun community, I think, just want to fight for fight's sake. They just want to be angry. And it does not make us look good. It doesn't make us look good. It's like I made an argument in one of my Texas Gun Vault poll questions of the week. I said, you can be mad at the ATF all you want. We can go to talk about Waco or Ruby Ridge or them going after FFLs wrongfully. But once in a while, you hear about, oh my gosh, the ATF stopped a gang in Los Angeles that had a bunch of Glock switches. Well, okay, that's actually something good. I mean, I'm going to applaud them for doing that. Hey, thank you for doing the research and the investigative task of going through that, and thank you for going out and arresting these people that were making illegal machine guns that are probably going to be used in gang shootings that are going to hurt other people that are probably innocent. So the ATF did something. No, I just hit my knee. The ATF actually went out and did something good. Once in a while, okay, it's one time out of 100, but at least you can say they did something decent, right? But no, Gunner's like, I'm sure it has some nefarious thing. I'm sure they got the Glock switches from the ATF themselves. Like, oh, God. Okay. I understand where these conspiratorial things go. I understand where they come from and the mindset. You just want to be mad at them. I get it. But think about the way it looks to people. In order for us to win the Second Amendment culture war, we have to bring in people from the middle, people that don't care about guns as much as us, that don't have the knowledge that we have, the people that the anti-guns people are trying to get to vote for them. We have to win them over. And you don't win them over with anger. You don't win them over with misinformation. You don't win them over by looking like an idiot. Knowledge is power. It's important to be knowledgeable, and it's okay if you don't know everything. It's okay to ask questions. But before you make statements of fact, make sure you're right. Double check, and don't assume that because you heard it from somebody else, that it's factually accurate because you saw it on Guns and Gadgets. I tell you guys, go out and do your own research. Go do your own research. I will tell you what I know is fact. But please don't go around the world and say, well, because Jason from the Texas Gun Vault said this. Go, Jason said it's in the frequently asked questions. Let me go Google this. Okay. Do I have to engrave my receiver? No, you don't. Oh, he was right. Please go do your own research. Go look at the ruling where the judge said about the engraving. It's there. Don't trust me. Do not trust me. Go do your own research. I'm telling you where to find it. Go double check me. Go to CoOnTheWar's video. Double check that. Go look at the amnesty registration. You didn't have to pay a tax. Go look at that. Be factual. The laws and regulations are already bad enough. We don't have to lie about them. So there you go. That's all I want to say. Rant hat off. Okay? Yeah, so I don't know why I put myself through this. Because every time I talk about these damn things, I get all the crazies come out of the woodwork. So anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about tonight. So if you made it to the end of this ranty video, let me know what you think. Okay, you can tell I'm passionate about it because I love knowledge and I love education. And use the word idiot in your comment. And I know you watched all the way to the end of a 25-minute and 30-second video. So there you go. Hope you guys have a wonderful Friday, a wonderful weekend. Work on being accurate, work on being factual, and gain as much knowledge as possible. Knowledge is power. That's how we win. Be smart. Don't just be angry and spout off what you hear. Learn. Educate yourself. Do your own research. Be smart. Be knowledgeable. And we can win this battle. So, as always, thanks for watching.